Ebenezer, good morning. If you can hear me very well, I mean, if I'm audible enough, can you drop, can you put a chat in the comment section? Because we're going to start analysis now. We're just going to get started now. So let's be sure that I'm audible and then you can see my screen. Ebenezer, good morning. If you can hear me very well, I mean, if I'm audible enough, can you drop, can you put a chat in the comment section? Because we're going to start analysis now. We're just going to get started now. So let's be sure that I'm audible and then you can see my screen. Ebenezer, good morning. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you guys can hear me. So we're going to start the analysis now. 1 second. All right. So I want to welcome you to another day, another week where we'll be looking at the chart together. I don't know what I'm getting. What am I getting echo today? What can I do? What can I do? Guys, please, I'm trying to test something out, okay? Because I think we're getting echo from my audio, so I want to be sure that you can hear me like clearly now. Is it better? Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. So it's
Because I think I was we're getting echo from my audio, so I want to be sure that you can.
okay. If it's better now, then we're going to get started. Okay, so what we're just going to be doing today is similar to what we've been doing over the past few weeks. We're just going to be getting into the charts, picking a bias for the week, and we'll keep riding. I think the last time we were live, analyzed the trade XAUUSD for us right here, and that particular trade gave us 1 to 5. Like it gave us 1 to 5, risk reward 1 to 5. It was a very good trade. Although it didn't play out that same day, it played out 2 days after, right? But that particular trade gave us full take profits. Okay, so we are just going to be trying to get another direction, another position across all the commodities that we trade and probably currency pairs, and we'll see what the market have for us for the week, right? I think the other trade that we analyzed together silver was on silver last week, and that one went to, was it stop loss, or I think it first gave us an option to break even, then it went back to the entry point and we were out of the trade, right? By the way, how has the market been treating you? How has it been for you so far? Feel free to drop your experience in the chat section. How's the market been treating you? I hope you have been making profit. Ebenezer, I hope you have been making profits and you've been enjoying Forex money. All right, so we're going to get started. So I'm going to start my analysis again with gold. I'm going to be starting with gold. All right, and I believe that you all can see my screen clearly, right? So I'm starting my analysis again on gold. All right, and don't forget the bias is still to the upside on gold. The bias is still to the upside. So because if you check the daily time frame, what can we see on the daily time frame? Okay, so on the daily time frame, I can see that after this retracement and then this push to the upside, it is looking like market is resting. Like I feel that the, especially because of the what's it called, because of the influence of this war on gold. Ideally, all things being equal, we are supposed to have a push to the all-time high over here, right? I'm just going to, so all things being equal, we're supposed to get a push to this upside, to this all-time high, right? And then market retraced, and then it started gathering momentum to the upside. But you can see that market is still struggling to get to the all-time high. That's because of the surprising strength of dollar this past few days. I mean, at this point, the US dollar is supposed to be losing weight, but then it's just gaining weight, right? So it is becoming strong against gold, and that is why we had this push to the downside. Now, technically, what is our bias? I'm still going to hold on with that same bias of gold still getting up to the upside. I still believe that we are still going to have gold touch the all-time high again, right? I really want to start, please. Okay, soft Ogoniyi, you really want to start, feel free to send a message or click on the description or something just to get access to the admin of the community, and you'll be guided. You'll be shown everything you need to know to become a profitable trader. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to my analysis now. Right. So we are still seeing gold struggling to break to the upside. So right now because of intraday sentiment, I wouldn't want to totally uh, I wouldn't totally want to conclude that my bias this week on gold is to the upside. I wouldn't want to conclude that because you can see that market has been doing major retracement, and it is possible that gold will start selling, because if this place becomes a daily trend line, we're still going to see a lot of sell on gold. For example, we might see price pushing up downward to this trend line, then still moving to where this retracement ended the first time. So it is possible, but all these things, it has not played out, and nobody has any superpower to predict what market is going to do. We are just going, all we do is just to position ourselves, hoping that it's going in a direction, but nobody is certain and accurate about where market is going to go, right? So right now my bias is gold might possibly get to the all-time high, that is on daily time frame, or we can see a reaction on this trend line, and then we'll see a massive sell-off on gold again. So if by the time I'm moving my chart to the lower time frames, I'm going to be looking for an opportunity to buy if I see a good market structure, and I'm also going to be looking for an opportunity to sell if I still see a market structure. So the daily bias doesn't really matter at this point because of the present situation on gold. I hope you got that. I hope you got that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be moving my chart to the 1 hour time frame to see what we have on 1 hour. Now I mentioned something. I told you guys that whenever I trade gold, I use a simple SMC strategy to trade gold. It doesn't mean that I don't use other ways to analyze the other markets, right? But particularly on gold, it is convenient and easier for me to just plug in my SMC and just relax and see how market is going to mitigate my point of interest and go in my direction. It is way convenient for me, especially on gold, and the strategy has proven to be effective on XAUUSD. Okay, so on H1 time frame, don't forget the next thing we are going to be looking out for is market structure, and I can see that recently market just broke this last low to form a new lower low on H1, right? So we are seeing a break of structure at this point, a break of structure on the H1 time frame, right? And then the market, the move that started this break of structure, where did it happen? I'm going to delete this because it was not mitigated. Where did it happen? Okay, so this overall break of structure started on daily time frame at this point. It started at this point. For those of you that are still struggling with SMC techniques, strategies and all that, I'm probably going to do a series this week or next week explaining this simple SMC strategy again. Although I think I've dropped a short video on that before, but I'm going to do a long one where you get to understand what I mean by uh, order block, fair value gap, liquidity grab, liquidity pool, and all those ones. I'm still going to do a long video on that. So make sure that you stay tuned on this channel. I'll be dropping it so that when I drop you don't miss it, right? So the next thing is, okay, now this break of structure started from this level. It started from this level, right? And for some of you that understand the concept of balance and imbalance, you know that there was a balanced market at some point and then the imbalance set in, and the candle that started the imbalance was this particular candle. It was this particular candle. Now one thing happened with this point of interest on H1. It has been mitigated already. You can see the market has actually touched it to pull back to the downside. So before I even consider this place, before I start setting my sell position on XAUUSD based on this H1 point of interest, I would want to go to a lower time frame because market has touched this place already. So I will now go and look for entry on lower time frame. But don't forget, this is just the H1 point of interest. Market is still going to take a long time before it gets there. So I'm still going to look for other positions on lower time frame. I hope you're following me. If you're following me, please make sure you drop a chart so that I'll be sure that we're together. Right? So this is my buyers on H1, right? And it's still going to take a long time. I don't want to wait till next week or next 2 weeks before I see a trade that I'm going to play. So I'm going to look for more positions on lower time frame. So the next time frame I'll go to is the 15-minute time frame. Now, what is happening on 15 minutes? On 15 minutes time frame, I can still see a market structure to the downside. I can spot a market structure to the downside. As you can see how price has been moving. You can see that we keep getting new lows every now and then. So overall, looking at this is obviously a downtrend. Now, I always tell you guys something, that Forex does not appear the way it is in textbook. The market does not appear the way it is in textbook. For some textbook, if they want to explain a downtrend, you see it in a clear structure. You know, higher, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. But then look at the real market. Look at how challenging and confusing it can be. But it is now left for you to really understand what the market is doing, what is happening at the moment on the market. And obviously, it is still a downtrend on 15 minutes time frame. And what I'm looking for is the recent break of structure to the downside. The recent break of structure to the downside. And I can see that the last break of structure that happened at these points. Right? The last break of structure happened right at this point. Okay? And it was this break of structure that caused the last lower low. Right? Break of structure means when market breaks a particular resistance or support to turn to a resistance or support. For example, in a downtrend, when market breaks a support to turn it to a resistance, that is a break of structure. And you can see that market broke this line, this horizontal line that I drew. Market broke it to the downside to have the last low. Now, market has not broken this last low, so we still have a selling bias, right? Now, the move that started this break of structure and this new lower low, the move started at this point. You know, very soon, by the time I say that we have people that are frequenting this live, like regular people, I wouldn't have to be explaining so much about break of structure and all those things. I will just go straight to analyze together, and then we move on to the next one, because this alone takes our time. Right? So the move that started this break of structure started from this area. It started from this area. So I'm just going to mark out my other block or my supply zone from there. So I'll expand the chart so that we can see. And then looking at this price, you can see all these candles that represent a balanced market, which means buyers and sellers are dragging. You can see, personally, I call those candles pin bars. So you can see these balanced markets, buyers in the market, sellers in the market. You can also see the second candle, which is also the balanced candle. And finally, there was an imbalance. Sellers won at this candle. Sellers eventually won. So how am I going to draw my point of interest? I'm going to draw it from the previous balanced candle, just like I always do. So I'm going to go to my horizontal tool, rectangle tool, and mark out the last candle from the high to the low of the last candle. Okay, so this happens to be the last candle right here. Now for this particular setup, I can't see a fair value gap, because you can see that despite the fact that the imbalance started in markets, the third candle have actually mitigated that zone. You can see that the third candle has actually pushed back up to touch that same zone. So for this kind of situation, I'm still going to consider it as point of interest, but then I'll be looking for a better entry on the lower time frame. I'll be looking for a better entry on the lower time frame. So, but before then, let's check what the 5 minutes time frame has for us on that same level. The 5 minutes time frame, what does it have for us? Okay, now looking at the 5 minutes time frame, I can readjust my point of interest to this point. Now it is better now because price has not even mitigated it on 5 minutes time frame, and the reason why I adjusted it is because on 5 minutes time frame I can see this balance candle, and then I can see the imbalance candle that started after, and luckily for us I can even still spot a fair value gap at this area. So I wouldn't have any need to go to a lower time frame again to confirm my entry. What I'll just do is to set my sell position like that. Okay, I can decide to go to M15 to do that. So I'm going to put up my sell position, short position, enter at the other block, and put my stop loss slightly above So what's this giving us? Then my take profits will be at this downside. And look at it, we are getting risk to reward 1 to let's just do 1 to 8. Let's do 1 to 8. So let's just do 1 to 8, because we never can tell what the market is going to start doing from that level. I can see the struggle, and I can also see a trend line on that lower time frame, right? So I want to be careful to get out in profits before market starts moving wild. So that is it. That is my simple outlook on gold for today and for the week, right? I hope you got what I just did. I'm going to still do 1 second, let me check the following actively. Okay, Obalola Gideon. All right, well done. So for those that are just joining, I'm going to do a summary of my outlook on gold again. I'm going to do a summary and I'll make it as simple as possible. On the daily time frame, we checked the market and we saw that instead of us to have a push after the end of this retracement, instead of us to have a simple push to the all-time high on gold on daily time frame, market has started becoming weak and consolidating. So it's showing that sellers are trying to gain momentum in this market. So we still have two different kind of buyers. We have the buyers to the upside and we have the buyers to the downside. It's possible market continues rallies upward, especially because of the impact of war, and it is possible that market still rallies downward because dollar is just gaining strength these days, right? And then I also said that there is a trend line that might be responsible for a push downward. So when I go to a lower time frame, I'm still going to be looking for either a buy bias or a sell bias depending on the market structure I get on the lower time frame. So that's what I did on daily time frame. And then I'm moving now to H1, and on H1 we saw that there was a break of structure on H1 level, right? This was the break of structure right here. Market broke this structure to the downside, so that means I'm going to be looking for a sell opportunity. Then the move that started the break of structure to the downside started at this point. If I expand that, you see it very well. So the move that started the break of structure started from this point. So I mark this place as my H1 point of interest. But it's still going to take a long time before market gets back to this point of interest. I don't want to miss out on short trades that I can quickly take advantage of. So that's why I decided to move my chart to the 15 minutes time frame, and I can see a small market structure, right? Inside market structure on 15 minutes time frame, I can see that the last time market broke structure to the downside was at this point. It was at this point. There was a break of structure to the downside to form the latest and the last lower low, and the move that started that break of structure started from this point. So I just checked my 15 minutes time 5 minutes time frame to confirm that move. I checked my 5 minutes time frame to confirm that move, and I can see the balance candle and the imbalance and also the fair value gap around that zone. And then I decide to mark it out as my point of interest, and I'm waiting for market to go and mitigate my point of interest. And I have a very good risk to reward, 1 to 8. And don't forget, these days gold is moving wild, so by the time you are getting 1 to 2 of your capital, make sure you take half of the profit, or move your stop loss to break even, so that you'll be protected in case gold decides to behave erratically. Okay, so that's just the simple summary of my buyers on gold. All right, guys, don't forget that whenever we come live like this is an opportunity for you to also send me your buyers, right? So if you are looking at any pair right now, if you are thinking of buying or selling any pair today, put it in the chat box. Let me analyze it for you, and we'll be able to see if we have the same buyers on it. Okay, this is an opportunity for you, right? And it only comes once in a week. So if there's any pair that you want me to analyze, feel free to put it uh in the chat box, right? Feel free to put it in the chat box. Okay, so what next? What do we have on BTC USD? Okay, and I don't think I've actually analyzed BTC USD in this live before. I don't think so. So let's see what, for our Bitcoin people, for our crypto lords, let's see what BTC USD have for us for today. So of course, my bias is going to start on the higher time frame. And looking at the higher time frame, I can say that there's a break of structure to the upside on higher time frame, and my bias on BTC would probably be to the upside. My bias on BTC would be to the upside. I can see this trend line also on H1. So I'm going to have a bullish bias on Bitcoin. I have a bullish bias on Bitcoin. Okay, you want me to analyze euros to US dollars? Okay, that's fine. Okay, all right. So BTC USD bias to the upside. Let's be fast so that we can quickly touch other pairs. So straight up, I'm going to go to the H1 time frame and see what is happening there, and see what is happening on H1. Okay, I'm just going to leave this trend line. I'm going to leave it active. Okay, I'm just going to leave that here. I'm not going to be using the trend line now, but I just want to know when to also run an impulsive move to the upside in case market pulls back to that level. Okay, on H1, of course, I can see a break of structure, to the upside. And what else? Let me expand my chart. Let me see if there is any level that we should be looking at on the H1 time frame. Okay, right now on H1 I can't see any, so I'm going to move to the 15 minutes time frame. So on the 15 minutes time frame, what I'm looking for is a point of imbalance, the beginning of imbalance, right? There is also a break of structure to the upside right here on the 15 minutes time frame. And what happened at this point? What happened there? Where is the imbalance? Where is the imbalance? Okay, I can see one here, but it is not so strong. But at the same time, we can't deny the fact that it was an imbalance. So I'm just going to mark this area on BTC USD. I'll mark this area out. Okay, I am buying BTC, I am selling BTC. So some of you are buying, some of you are selling. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let me see what I don't have a buyers yet, so let me see what I'm going to do. Let's see what I'm going to do, if I'm going to be buying or selling BTC. All right, so this is my point of interest on the 15 minutes, but then I'm going to check 5 minutes to see if it looks better on 5 minutes. And of course I think it looks better on 5 minutes. It looks better on 5 minutes. So this is my point of interest on BTC, and then of course I can spot my fair value gap right here. So it's a confirmation that this is a place to be reckoned with, right? So I'm just going to put my buying position, my long position. Now don't forget, this is the mistake that a lot of you make, especially when you are trading SMC. Because you want to, as much as possible, get a very tight stop loss, you're going to put your stop loss very close to your point of interest. But for me, I can see simple market, simple price action happening at this range, right? So I want to be careful of market manipulation. I want to put my stop loss where I know that it will be safe. So I'd rather put my stop loss way down here, right? And then of course put my take profits to the upside. And it's not a bad risk to reward. I still got out 1 to 3.5 risk to reward around this area. So let's quickly lock it in. Let's lock it in. I'll type it out right now. Let's lock the trades in. So BTC USD buy limit at 73989 73537.23. Stop loss 7285.28 TP 75 931.56. Risk to reward 1 to 3.5. All right, and we're good on that. So my bias on BTC USD is buy. So I think I'm going to be best man wins. All right, so I think I followed the same bias with Ebenezer. Right, I'm looking forward to buy on BTC USD. I'm looking forward to buy. All right, don't forget we've already analyzed gold, we've already analyzed BTC USD. The next thing, I think someone said I should analyze EURUSD. Now guys, be careful. I don't use SMC on currency pair. I only use it on commodities like gold, metals, and every other thing, but not on currency pair. But then that is what I'm still teaching you guys. That is the strategy I'm still pointing out to you guys. So I'm still going to try as much as possible to use SMC to analyze euros USD, but then it is not my best bet. It is not my best bet. Okay, so daily time frame. What do we have on daily time frame? So automatically looking at this, I can see the market has broken this structure to the downside. There is a change of character on higher time frame. Right? So market has a selling bias on euros to US dollars. So I'm going to go straight to the 1 hour time frame. We have few minutes to go. I'm going to go to the 1 hour time frame, and don't forget what I'm looking for is an opportunity to sell. It's an opportunity to sell, and the last time markets broke a structure was here. There was a break of structure here. Okay, and the move that started this break of structure started from this point. The move started from this point, but market, this point of interest has been mitigated already, right? Market has touched it. So if price push back, I'm not going to set a pending order because I need to look for a better confirmation on a lower time frame. I need to look for a better confirmation on a lower time frame, right? So there is no pending order right now, although I'm still seeing another point of interest on euros USD at this point. I'm seeing another point of interest at this point. So then I'm going to go to the lower time frame to see what's happening there. On 15 minutes time frame, okay, so on the 15 minutes time frame, I have an opportunity to adjust my point of interest, the one that we drew on H1. I have an opportunity to adjust it, and now adjusting it shows that the zone is still fresh off on 15 minutes. That particular zone is still very fresh. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to H1. Since I've adjusted it, I'm going to go back to H1, and then I will drop my pending order for euros USD for shorts right here on H1. Stop loss about 20 pips. Okay, let's do like 25 pips and take profit, of course, to this downside. Why am I getting juicy risk to reward? It's too good to be true today. This is 1 to 9. This is another 1 to 9. Right? Now, this is my outlook on the H1 time frame, but going to the 15 minutes time frame, I can see that there is one zone that is close, is very close to price right now. So I want to look very well to see what's happening there. Is this a zone to reckon with, or we should just ignore it? Is this a zone to reckon with? Okay, I wouldn't want to take this zone seriously because I mean I didn't see that sharp imbalance in market. Market just looked like it was still struggling, and then there is no reasonable fair value gap around this zone. So I'm going to ignore that. I'm just going to delete this and stick to my H1 buyers on Euros USD. So if you want, you can decide to lock in your order. Don't forget, by the time you get a reaction and you get risk to reward 1 to out of 1 to 9, by the time you get 1 to 3, 1 to 4, take half of your profit and then allow the trade to run risk free. All right, I think we've been able to analyze 3 markets so far. The last one I'm going to do before I go is silver. I think we entered a silver trade yesterday and then it gave us stop loss. This was the trade right here and it gave us stop loss. Okay, briefly we're going to go to the daily time frame again. To the daily time frame, and then I can see that silver has been pushing to the downside. It has been pushing to the downside. The momentum is not strong to the upside, but then I'm still going to have both buyers in case anytime I see any good market structure on the lower time frame, I'm going to get into the trade because it's not showing me a clear buying or selling momentum on the daily time frame. So H1, break of structure on H1. So obviously I'm looking for a sell position. Then on 15 minutes, what do we have on 15 minutes? What do we have on 15 minutes? Okay, I can see different point of interest on the 15 minutes time frame, but the recent one, the one closest to price right now, is right here. That's the one closest to price, and I can see my fair value gap right here. So I'm going to lock in my order again for a selling opportunity on silver, and this has given me another 1 to 4.5 risk to reward. So that is it, guys. It is as simple as that. You can see that I didn't even spend up to 5 minutes on silver, right? It usually takes our time because I have to explain what point of interest, what order block is, and make sure that you check the page. I'll be dropping a video explaining that in detail so that anytime we come to class, we'll be able to analyze as many pairs as possible and pick our position on it, right? So that's my buyers, that's my weekly outlook. And another thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to still send a screenshot of all the things that we've done today. I'm going to be sending a screenshot of all our positions to the Telegram community. So if you are not in the community, make sure you click on the link in the description to join the Telegram community, and we'll be dropping all the trades there. So that is my outlook for, well, technically it's not actually an outlook for the week because all these things that we've drawn today can play out today. All the ones we've drawn so far can play out today. So if there's any other fresh outlook for the week, probably by Thursday. I'm going to drop it in the Telegram uh, community. All right, thank you guys for coming around today. Maybe before the end of this week, we are still going to be going live on TikTok just to check up on ourselves, right? To see how trade has been going for the week, and we get to talk better. We get to talk better and interact better. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share this with your friend. I mean, this is an opportunity. We just coming live, getting free trade analysis and making money and making money. So if you don't want any of your friends to miss out on that, kindly share the link with them so that they can subscribe to this page and also take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm very tired right now, and I guess we'll see in the next one. Okay. Peace out. Ebenezer, enjoy your week.